Kenny. I just want to look at your head. Wow.
Got it.
Wow.
Well, like I said, if we're showing off.
Wow. Oh my God. Don't do that to us, Richard. We can't. We can't.
I'm just trying to prepare you for the future, Bob.
Not me.
I didn't even realize that was Kenny.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. And we're coming up on 36 after the hour. Sensei is almost ready. Please stand by. We're still unlocking microphones. Ken, do you have your mic now? I show you unmuted.
Oh, really? I missed that. Wow. Had to happen sometime, huh?
Okay. So Ken's going to moderate tonight, and I'll turn it over to him.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. We're still waiting for Sensei to give us the go-ahead. Want to remind everyone that donations are accepted following the successful Roy Johnson. I'll say, think about buying your teacher a cup of coffee and having a chat with him. So I think we are ready to go. And yep, I see a camera. And Sensei, you're on.
In case the viewers didn't recognize, that was Kenneth Cron. Did they hear me on that? That was Kenneth Cron, in case you didn't recognize him with his new hairdo.
It hasn't been this short since I was a teenager.
Yeah. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Okay, let's spend a few minutes here, whatever, on last week's. What did we do last week? Playing that the qualities in your system, energies, can push us tight. Also, they pull back into finer and finer and finer. So as you get kind of a sense of that, you get to work with it better. You can find certain balance points in between the push and pull where you can function for a while. Okay. And that one possibility was, I think we tried to touch on last week, was recognize the quality that's pushing on you. And so you can maybe use that quality word sense to backtrack into finer and finer of that quality. So in the sense, catching the quality might facilitate you in backtracking it to finer. Is that okay so far? Yeah. We brought up also, and again, I'd like to refine this a bit, but not only do the qualities have a potential to push, but the self also has a potential. And again, I mentioned I'd like to fine tune that. I should be able to hear from whatever you say. Oh yeah, that's the self pushing. Oh, that's a quality pushing. Okay. No big deal. Whoever's pushing, if you settle and open and play the say what game and open and listen better, it doesn't matter what's pushing, you'll backtrack to it. Okay, but just for me, I like to fine tune things sometimes. Who dat? So any comments on last week?
In the meeting now, there are more than 20 participants in the meeting. This meeting
Yeah,
is
Bob.
recorded. You are
Um,
muted. You can mute.
what I found so interesting is that the least time I feel like doing any processing
Mhm.
is precisely that time when I'm getting pushed on. I don't, I get a push and it's like, oh, I don't want to deal with anything.
Yes.
I just kind of want to close my head, take a nap, do something. But since working with that, it turned out that it was like I don't have time for this, but time seems to be a quality that was coming through and pushing on me. And by taking a few moments and playing with it, sticking with it in spite of not wanting to, it opened up to something very big, exactly what I needed.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Pardon me?
That's why we're here.
Yes.
Should be so.
Well, after 50 years, you start to learn.
Well, Steve, you have to understand some people are slower than others. Okay.
Yeah. But it's just such a great reminder that it maybe seems like the last thing you want to do, but it's there waiting for you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just want to
I
encourage
think
you.
the timing there, if you're in the push of it, to try to think I've got to do something, well, you're in the push of it. I think first, maybe we have to realize we're in a push, easy, settle, open up a bit more so the push can flow through a bit without you going downstream into tighter with it. So a little something that facilitates then being able to move upstream. So it's not just being in the middle of a pushing, okay, I'm going to go upstream. And no, it's too strong. I think we have to address it, deal with it in some form, and then go. Okay. I think I tried to present that in my dumb way, using a wave. If you're a surfer, a wave, or you got a canoe or a boat or something, and you try to launch your boat against a big incoming wave. It's kind of stupid, isn't it? It's going to bowl your ass over, right? So you begin to recognize the beats and launch your boat now, but not against a big wave. You gotta wait. Oh, there it is now. How did I know there it is? I sort of felt a little deeper. Could feel like under my tailbone, so to speak. A little deeper opening. There it was. There. I can now move into a little bit bigger level or next level or something. Is that coming across right?
Yeah.
So to be able to time things. I like people to sort of get a sense of the wave. So even in our again, dumb practices, don't disregard the word dumb. Of okay, I want to stand better, Dave. Okay, and here comes the energies to stand better. But one thing I like to introduce to people is, okay, I want to stand better. Now here come the energies. Wait, it was a little minor ripple. Medium. Oh, here it comes. I can almost hear it roar. So to recognize whatever that is I'm doing, to know when to move with it, when not to try to go upriver when you're being pushed downriver. Wait it out for a moment. Wait it out. That kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah. No. Huh? Say something intelligent, Steve, to finish this up.
Well, that's going to be difficult, but let me try. I guess, what you just said was very helpful to not just immediately try and go against the tide, because what I said was you start to recognize that push. That's your cue that to start, at least to recognize it's time to process. There's something going on here, but to also recognize that to take a breath, take a step, and let that wave, instead of pushing against the tide, let the thing go through you. Yeah. We talked about what first seems like a monster. The push is like a monster. It doesn't feel pleasant. It's not where you say, oh, I'm ready to process. It's the opposite. And I tend to feel pretty down on myself when I get into that tight space. But I found when I opened up, the opposite. I felt very confident, and it was very spacious once I did that.
Yeah.
So
and the power of the push at a certain level is liked, enjoyed. Even at that level, I'm not fantastic levels we're getting into here, people, but the pattern follows. You're getting the push and power to hit the ball. He likes baseball, so okay, or tennis. You get the push and the power to whomp that ball so fast they're not going to be able to catch up to it, kind of thing. So there's certain times where we go, oh, thank God it's there.
Yeah.
Thank God I needed the power because we really needed a home run. Thank you, God, or whoever they think. No. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we ran that one into the earth.
Okay.
Somebody, anything on qualities from last week? Or the push into tighter, anything there? Autumn, we talked about something last week that I don't know if I covered it well. Yeah. Anything from last week that I stumbled over?
The lesson was don't try to solve the push from a 1x, because you're only going to get 1x answers out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we get so, let's say, contorted in a 1x to try to figure anything out. And I should have said it a little clearer last week, that we probably should move to the next and maybe even the next where we can, okay, I recognize that push. The quality seems to be, or whatever, the voice from self seems to be, whatever you're picking up there. But to try to pick it up when you're in a contorted, it's like, I don't think so. You're just going to contort more. Yeah. So I don't think I made that clear last week, but to do a basic settling, it's at least to the next level, and then sense around for what the push may be saying. If not there, go one more, but definitely not from a tight, crazy place. No. It won't work well.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Autumn, yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, tonight. What is tonight? Space. Yeah, let's go over space. Okay. And why I put that in there, that's a 1x, 2x, 3x. Okay. That we touched on space, but we did that form of it. We did easy. Let's get a balance or a squared away space. We'll call it 1x. And in 1x, it's just not quite enough. I'm a little strange, potentially. I'm a little hunched over, definitely. My guts pull up in a bit. Okay. Now easy, settle, open, move into the next space. Okay, the 2x2. the energies there there's a little more access. The energies are a little bit better quality, and they mix up a little better character. The 2x2 starts to become a Robert. I use Bobby Robert Nadeau as the same example. He's not as crazy as Bobby. He may be annoying, but he's not as crazy as Bobby. And then again, okay. So we've used space when we were doing that. Needed a certain amount of space, so the activity in that space could mix up a better character, let's say, okay, a better sense of things, whatever. Are we okay so far? Now, again, tonight, I just want to do space as itself, for lack of words, experiencing itself. I'm not interested right now in the mix that goes on in the space. So when I'm going for space and it starts to, and I can catch a quality or I catch a start in a mix, I don't care right now. No, not now. I'm, for lack of words, highlighting space. Okay. Am I saying this okay? I'm not interested in who's in the space and who gets mixed up better in the space, and is there beauty in the space, is there whatever. I don't care. We're just doing space as itself, space. Did I say that okay? Are we okay so far?
Sounds good.
Okay. I think I mentioned last time we touched on space, this is to me from OSensei, larger space. He'd like a few larger space. So we'll follow this pattern. And then a few finer space. And then a few, a more original space. Okay. And just, I don't know what to say, just do the best you can. Let's say go back as far as you can, as best as you can. Allow more space to be present, showing. That's sort of okay. Damn the words in this business. Also, space is not an idea out there. Remember the here and now of things. Space is here. Okay. Space is here. So even though it's such the sense of it is gets much bigger, of course. It's not, oh, it's bigger out there. I'm in a spacious idea. Still a sense of here. Space. Okay. Is that okay? The here and now of it. Yeah. Okay. All right. If you want, let's play with space. Easy, settle. Now, of course, in the early stages, there's some Bobby awareness of space, Robert looking around at the space, whatever. But no. As soon as possible, don't pay any attention to that. We're not interested in that. Space. Easy. The larger of space. Easy. The larger of space. Okay. Let me screw up your practice and interject. I knew I was on the right track because I wasn't looking to have my body be the reference for this. But in doing this, I didn't notice body settling a bit. There's some definite more space things that the body was affected by. So I noted that, but I don't stay there and say, now what's happening in the body? I don't major in it. I just happen to softly in the background notice the body was affected, and it got better with each bigger space, this freer sense of things. Okay. So that just clues me in that I'm on the right track, because I could feel it. If it was just an idea about space, I wouldn't be able to really feel those changes here. Is that okay so far? Okay. Let's go back one more time because I took you out of the practice a bit. Easy. One more time. The here and now, the bigger of space. Space itself getting bigger, for lack of words, experiencing itself, what the hell ever that means. Space itself, spacing. Easy. In words, just have a sense of spaciousness. And I do this to remind me that it's here. Yes, but more open space is here. It's not just up here. Okay. All right. So far, so good. Next series, the finer of space. Easy. Okay. In this larger space, shifting to the finer of the space where we're at here. And at first I'm, but I don't know what finer of space means. Yeah. Stop it. Easy. The finer of space. Easy. Again, continuing the finer of space. Space is itself feeling itself. The finer of space. And again, quick aside, I could feel, I don't know what to call it, some kind of energy, kind of little beep, something, I don't know, softly electrical in that field. Was that it? I don't know. I don't care. Space. The third in the series, easy. Space, fineness of space. The more original space, more original space. And I don't have to know anything really. I'm just allowing that, the more original of space. The more original of space. My sense of this is really space as we kind of know it in science fiction movies. That was my experience, my sense of it. A lot of dark in there someplace, but I'm not going to try to figure it all out. This is space's turn to present itself as space. Bigger, finer, and more original. Okay. I don't know if we should dialogue anything there. Let's try. So I don't know, but let's try. And I don't even know the right words. What was your sense? How did space present? Bob, help me here.
Space, as it experiences itself, was permeable to itself. It allowed.
Okay. So for me, a strong emphasis on the openness of it.
Yes.
That's how I would word it, but it sounds like your wording.
Yes. And space has its own intelligence, and as it experiences itself more fully, that intelligence begins to really show up.
Yeah, possibly because everything in creation is aware and experiencing itself. But again, different topic, but probably something like that. Justin, how'd you do with space itself?
With space, there was a sense of clearer and more open, peaceful from one level to the next.
In that case, I might say peaceful in the sense that we're not paying attention to any activity. We're passing on that. That's not where I'm focusing is a bad word. It's not where I'm focusing. I'm not focusing on the mix and the character and the Dusty. Did you hear that? I'm not focusing on all this nonsense that goes on to create a character. You got that, Dusty? Okay, good boy. Anybody? Space. And whatever word like experiences itself means, or just space. Larger.
This is Nancy.
Finer Nancy. Yeah. I
I
mean,
did a deep permeability through the most microscopic to the macroscopic.
yeah, this is the space where all that can go on in. It's for there to be a creation, it needed a space to create in. So yes, so whatever is going to go on here. And this is the space that allows it all. Okay. Something like that. So yeah. The heavier, the microscopic, the this, the that, the great galaxies, all that stuff. Yes. Space. Okay. Sensei inferred to me that, let me see if I can remember, inferred that hang out, play with space for a bit. It should facilitate later when we say, okay, next in the space and where the qualities start to move around, energies, nutrients, all that, creating a character that having done a goodly space first can facilitate all of that. You see, we do a 2x and we get a better character. We do a 3x and we get even a better character, okay? You do big space, and then if you want to get into what's going on in there, it'll begin to show you. I think Keisha's example, a week or the week before, whatever, about in the big space and starting to get caught up in the spiral of the what I call manifest creation. There's a lot of beauty there. Teacher Jan, beauty, and what was your second one?
Yeah, it was expression or creativity.
Oh, yeah. Yes, expression, creativity, and beauty with that. Yeah. I suggest to everybody, one quality could unfortunately spin you off after a bit. It's good to find its partner quality. It helps facilitate the balance of things. So even the beautiful qualities like beauty or love or whatever, yeah, but could get spun off a bit. Get two, and it seems to balance better. This is a trick, file it away. That's where I make jokes. That's how we Nadeau level of making jokes. Love. And then you score every errand boy, every delivery guy, it's like, really? Something's missing. I'm nice you're loving, but you're scoring every guy in the neighborhood. What are you doing? Or vice versa, whoever's scoring. That kind of thing, it can get out of hand. So find its partner. Helps keep things balanced. Trick of the trade. Okay. Maybe one more, something on space, something that was the lousy word, sensed.
I'm finding it to be effortless. At first it was easy, but then it became effortless. Yeah, space itself should be kind of effortless. That's why, again, using my dumb example, I'd say to the troops in the dojo, see this dojo space? It's just here. Now, easy. A little bit bigger. Now there's the block space, and that space is just here. Now there's the neighborhood space, and on and on and on.
It's not hard work. Space is space kind of thing. Okay. Now, maybe if you block yourself in to a 1x1, you can feel the heaviness of those dimensional walls, those membranes are like cementy, and you think you're going to fight your way out, but not really. Space is space. Space is space. Okay. Anyway, blah, blah. Again, sorry, the words are strange sometimes. We don't really have a vocabulary at certain levels of things, you know. We do the best we can. Knowing no one word might be perfect. Okay. All right. Now, if there's nothing more on space.
Sensei, it's Andreas. I have a question.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking is like,
wait a minute, did you say you're
how
thinking?
does
Okay.
space relate to somebody to loneliness? Like if
if they're lonely, I'm sure they're in a tight space in some manner, not necessarily in a tight room, but they've tightened things in and they're lonely. Nobody visits, nobody holds their hand, nobody calls them.
There you go.
They're the results of being tight.
Okay.
But let's not, unless we have to, let's not get into these levels. I want to stay bigly here tonight. Big space, finer space, the more original space. I mean it. In your system, you can do that. That's allowed for you. Okay.
Yeah.
So don't keep coming back to the weird guy. Not now. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
But not today. Okay. Yeah. One way you recognize when you're being pushed into a 1x1 is spatiality. Some of you said time. It's also spatiality. You don't have room to move around. They took my parking place. All right. The neighbors are infringing. They're making too much noise and it's infringing in my space. And on and on and on and on. Who'd I cut off? Somebody wanted to jump in?
Yeah, Sensei Tisha here.
Tisha there.
Yeah. So in looking at that feeling space, and then you have in your diagram tonight the 1x2 by 3x, which is our skillful way of practice. But what you referenced there, which I appreciated, was that in connecting with space, you have kind of an instantaneous expansion. It's you're connected in a way that 1x2 by 3x does in a more gradual.
Oh yeah, no, we have to teach the steps. We have to. Indeed. We have to, people. Okay, because there's a certain amount of how things work and the balance experience that's critical. And to not feel your kindergarten level and your early grammar school level because you're too smart or too this or too that, you're going to screw it up. I guarantee it. I'm sorry. I guarantee it. I don't give a shit how smart you are or how this and that you are. You don't have a click, 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 and you need a bit of it, not forever. It does get finer and finer, but I'm not asking you to go finer and finer and finer and finer and finer. I'm not asking you for that. I'm saying be comfortable with a certain amount of it, not the idea of it, the actual ability of experiencing that. Okay. And then we'll see about college work. Is that okay, T?
Yeah, that's right. That's right, spot on. Yeah, great. Thank you.
Again, remember, OSensei was fast because he had experienced a lot of that kind of thing, caught on to bigger sense of things, and was able to, as T was saying, just, I don't know what to say, cut to the chase, space, boom, boom, boom. Okay. But he also told me there are days you wake up and you are kind of tighter. So you do a couple of clicks next, to get to make sure all the pieces are there properly. And then you can bing, start to go big time. Okay. So yes. Okay. Now, why I mentioned self, how was that written up, Brad, do you know? Presence of self?
Space and the presence of self.
Presence of self. I like that. Presence of self. Yes. Okay. Now, we'll take another moment to re-experience the bigger, finer, more original space. Okay. The self that's there, again, we're many levels here. Okay. Some of you are a grade ahead of somebody else, whatever. Do the best you can is what I'm trying to say. So within a much larger space, hopefully this next piece, the self, okay, now different names. So I noticed maybe reading the doctor's, skimming the doctor's book for our crossing over thing. He uses self a certain way, I think. And anyway, self is consciousness. There is a finer self. There's a more original self, truer self. Okay, I'm just upgrading the word self. Soul is self. So again, whatever word you use, fine, as long as we're talking about the same unit. That's all. Okay, as long as we're talking about the same unit, I would surmise you can call it whatever you want. You want to say soul? Okay. As long as that word doesn't, because you've been brought up to understand soul to mean a certain thing, that you don't spin off on that, or your use, your family's use, your religion's use, put a little twist in it. So again, self, truer self, more original self, okay? A big time piece of creation, big time. Just do the best you can. See, when we were doing a 1 by 2 by 3 by, the potential was at a 3 by 4 by for the self that was there to begin to show and somehow let you know it's there in some form. Okay, but we're going big as we can. Doesn't mean the self is going to be its most original, pure from God's self. Do the best you can is all I'm saying. Is that okay that I mucked that up with words too much? Is that okay? Okay, give them a moment again for space, bigger space, finer of space, the more original space. Okay, now within that space, a certain amount of yourself is present. Okay, again, make sure we're doing this on a here now. Okay. So if you say self, soul, or whatever, don't float up out there to the heavenlies. Here, it's here. Again, OSensei, don't go anywhere. It's here. It's here inner. There's an inner journey to the finer of things that are here. Okay. So in this larger space, best you can, there is a self. Yourself is present here. What should we do with that? And I really don't mean what should we do with it. Self is here. Okay, let's not worry about dialogue of self yet or anything like that. Just this presence of self. Okay. So we have a large space, clearer space, a more original space as best as you can. And we have here the presence of self. You see? The self itself present. Now I'm noticing quite a bit of is it here? How am I going to recognize it? Getting those no, don't go back to Bobby and try to figure this out. Your Bobby, your Robert, your Nadeau, your great smartness is not going to figure this out. The self that's here, I would just like its presence. There, I like that. There we go, presence. That's why I like the word. The presence of self at whatever level we're at. Let's start. Bob, the presence of self at this, let's say, earlier level, the presence of self.
There is a radiant glow.
Okay, a glow. Easy. The presence of self glows. Okay. And again, in hanging with that, I felt a little activity warmth through my body. I don't care right now. I don't care right now. I don't want to get caught up in, my body. Screw it. Self in the space. There's much more room, so the more of self hopefully is showing for you its presence. Tisha, short one, what? Self.
Presence is a embodied balance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Embodied, I'm not sure what that means. I don't want to get caught up in too many words.
It's here.
Self.
Here.
Yeah. Autumn. We got a lot of space. Self is present. What's the earlier sense of it?
Light and
Can't hear you. You're too far back.
light and kind of this harmonizing.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the
That's fine. Okay, light. As in L-I-G-H-T, light.
Yes.
Okay, light. I may be referring to whoever's glow. Harmonizing. I don't know what to do with the word harmonizing. I'm not saying it's wrong or anything. I don't know what to do with it at the moment. Harmonize.
There's that kind of beat beginning, but it's kind of inherent in the space. Like I didn't have to do anything really to get there.
Yes. This shouldn't be hard work.
Right.
It's possible. I don't know. A self could be talking about itself and saying, when I'm present, things naturally harmonize or something like that. But I'm also probably putting words in her mouth, so I'll shut up.
Right.
Somebody, you got the game? This first sense of a presence of self. What's your, the damn words, what's your experiential sense of self? If self is present here and now, what's yours? Say something. Somebody. Self.
Radiance.
Radiance.
I feel it in my heart.
Okay, so
I feel a natural supportiveness inherent. It's just supportive and nurturing of it's part of itself.
okay, I didn't recognize the voice. Who was that?
Nancy.
Ah, yeah, supportive. Yeah, supportive. I've always been here. I want to call this the Evita. Don't cry for me, Argentina. I'm not finished. The truth is, I've never left you. I love those. I never left you. I've always been here. But you've been so busy being an asshole, and I've been here. You don't have to create me. I'm here. I've always been here. No, because you're coming out of kindergarten or one by one, I know you can't pick up the totalness of me. Okay. And even self at that level doesn't know its totalness. Okay. But we're in line. We're hooked in. I don't know the words. Okay. Self. Okay. So some so let's say anytime in the future, if you sat quiet for just a moment and said, self, how would you know it's there? The warmth factor, the actual glow factor, not a memory, not an idea, the actual. Say, oh yeah, there it begins, self. How would you recognize self's presence? Even though it could be the early stages of it.
Sensei, I'm feeling a calming ebb and flow, like a breath. The inhale, exhale, just presence is it's grounding and calming, but it's really all about the even flow of breath or opposites. It could be the breath, it could be opposites, it could be up and down, in and out, left and right, but it's just an even flow. And
hang on, don't hit me too much. I'll forget. By the time you get to the end, I've forgotten everything you said in the beginning. That's me. I'm not well. Anyway, but let's not get careful. We're not getting too involved with the workings.
Right.
Okay. When self is here and you naturally feel, say, a radiation, and you notice real quickly, you happen to notice a calmer Tom. Cool. But now Tom's a calmer now. Hey, what should I do now? And let's not lose this. In a certain way, screw Tom. In a certain way. I want self and more self. Because when Tom is dead and buried, this unit is going to be there. Okay.
Right.
And be able to potentially move on into the finer of self. That'll be the game. You're not finished because you're dead and there's a bit of a self there. You're not finished. The school goes on. Okay. So whatever I said, Tom, something in there. Whoosh. I don't know. What I wanted to do is just get a sense of its presence. Okay. Sense of its presence. And I noticed because of its presence, certain things that where Nadeau gets affected. Okay, yeah, it's fine, but that's secondary. Major is the presence itself and the more of itself. Another day I'll map out at this level of presence and self, you're going to get a calmer body. Now, at this level of present self, you're going to get more caring about people. Now, at this level, I'll map that out, but it's not important now. Self, 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 self. Not selfish, self. And I just wanted to get a sense of its presence. I didn't want to get into dialoguing, stuff like that. One thing I felt was if we do things like dialogue, some people come around to their bobby and talk to this thing back here. Okay. No, it's here. I just wanted to have it be here more. I'm also, by doing it this way, establishing its positioning. Okay. Remember, a lot of selves that I deal with are hoverers, or they're standing off to the side and they're not quite aligned with their body. Okay. So using the body as a certain heavy reference, it's here. It's inner, finer, but it's here. I don't know if I said anything intelligent there. I get lost. Help.
Sensei Bob here.
Yeah.
Self has a directness of experience that isn't two forces. It isn't the energies of character. It is its own experience of itself directly.
Yeah. Now, you should have brought it up, but it does have its own something, aliveness, not quite the right word. In the bigger levels, could we say, of self, OSensei likes the word vitality. Oh, you just learned a word. Now you're going to run around in your Robert level saying, yes, I'm feeling vitality. Don't bullshit you and don't bullshit me. It's a big time OSensei word at a certain level of experience. Okay. But that it is, let's call it alive. It is alive. It's not just a white field just hanging there, dozing off. Okay. It's so I myself at this stage of the game like to use something to facilitate its growth. I kind of let it pump, or I use a kind of a pumping sense. It's aware of itself, it's experiencing itself. Experiencing itself, it's aware of itself. So that its aliveness can come to the forefront, can show it's there. All right. Tom, not to be confused with, is that the pulsations, the breathing of the manifest universe? Not when I'm highlighting self. I'm just trying to get self to. See, again, I bump into selves when I work with Susan a lot. We bump into selves who are just hanging there and they don't produce much aliveness. So their person is a little hard pressed. They don't, they're sick or whatever, broken up or whatever in some form. And we're asking the selves to position better and to be a little more alive there so that their person can be affected by this aliveness. So they'll glow a bit more. Things will heal faster. Okay. So I know a lot of these things are similar and they, what's the word? Schmear. A lot of things can easily schmear because you got this overlay thing going on. So sometimes it's a little hard to say, well, is that or is that this? Okay, so that's why I try to be sort of distinct at certain stages. Okay, this is the self. Now let's not go heavy into what the body's doing or whatever. Not now. This is self. When we did space, I said, this is space. Yes, qualities and energies are mixing up a character and all that. Yes, but not now, just space. Okay. Trying to keep it as, I don't know, clear as possible. Whatever, again, the right words are. So, am I screwing this up too badly? Is this okay so far? Help. Nope.
It seems the words, as soon as we attach a description to that experience of experiencing itself in space, it gets immediately, how do I say, negates itself. It's almost like attaching a word to it to create some meaning, and we get attached to that meaning and we lose the sense of the present.
Yeah, let me jump in on that. This is why it's difficult to have a very, for lack of words, a very fine inner experience. That's like gangbusters. And then you move out of the experience and you try to tell your neighbor about it. What a bitch. C'est impossible.
See.
Hard. OSensei had a bitch of a time. How could he relate clearly to some real heavy people? The fullness, the fineness, the more original of his experience. Damn hard. And you throw out some stories and stuff. He liked to wax poetically a lot. And they screw that all up. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. Yeah. So to really understand is to have both people be at the same level. Then to a pretty good degree, they can communicate. Yeah. Even though you might, sense it a bit different. I kind of, oh, yes. I said that earlier. Somebody was seeing, Bob remembered somebody was open or something, allowing.
That's right.
And somebody else was, what was Nancy's?
Nurturing and supportive.
Yeah, non-interfering. It's a non-interfering space. It's maybe like a great womb. But at first we just do the womb of it. We don't care about the kid getting formed and stuff. I'm going to screw this all up, aren't I? Tom, I'm sorry, I jumped in a bit. Are you anything you wanted to clarify there?
No, I'm always in admiration of how you lead the discussion so that we can search through the meaning and search through the meaning of the experience.
Yeah.
Because as Bob points out, it really is about the experience.
Yes.
That's the hardest thing to drop a word on, because as soon as you do, you lost the experience. So it's but nonetheless, the pioneering of it is all the fun of it. So it's the journey is where it's at, so to speak.
Journey and the experience within the journey.
Yes.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we're here. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody, I need a little break here. Somebody, anything?
It's Justin. I'd like to add that experience of self has a presence and a radiance to it that's very distinct from the characters. Characters seem to have their own agenda, if you will, that's very different than the timeless presence quality of the self.
Yeah. For a bit, there's something similar, could we say? A guy wins the game and he's just glowing a bit, that kind of, God, I won the game. And he's glowing. But this glow is not that glow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But they're so similar overlaid, it's kind of, whoa, look at that athlete glow. He must be a spiritual teacher. Really? Maybe, but really? Anyway, thank you, Justin. Mics are open. Feel free. Better the space, the more room the self hopefully can be present. And by its presence, make itself known. By its presence, I don't know, it's be experienced. It's present. And I got to be careful. Me, Bobby, see if I can feel self's presence. And I'm into Bobby trying to, no, Bobby, shut up, relax, open. Self itself presence. Okay. It's presence. You know, we got a lot of years of feeling and thinking and figuring stuff out and all of that. Not now. Not now. There'll be, I don't know, say offshoots. There'll be things that I sort of quickly note, but I don't get caught up in them and go off on them. Because my emphasis, my focus, bad word, because I think people focus, so I don't like that word. Now, it doesn't mean you're using the word focus that way. You could be just really present with, and you would call that focusing. But I don't like the word focusing because a lot of people have been trained to focus. You know, if the teacher up on the blackboard says, all right, students, focus, most of them will lean forward and stare a little harder. Did you really mean that? Strain your eyes? I don't think so. Anyway, bad damn words. We do the best we can. So self. Where should we go with self? We got a few minutes here. Self's presence. Self seems to glow, seems to radiate somehow. Self may have some way of, I don't want to say improving itself. So I like sort of a two beat of that. And again, I don't mean the two beat of the universal two beats, two beat of the breathing two beats. It's within itself beats. I like the sense of aware experiencing aware. That's the mantra of self. Anything we should do with this? I presented the word over self back when. In retrospect, I don't like that word. It puts self up here. Instead of, no, it's here. It's here. It's here. Kind of like if you could see a self, and we had some kind of acid where my body would totally disappear, just totally disappear. Self would be right there. Positioned properly, hopefully. You should say, oh, Nadeau disappeared. Where the hell is itself? Right here, right here, right here. This sense of its presence and the lineup that goes on and on and on. So as you're, for some of you, heading towards an original heavenly, hope you get there eventually. The lineup thing is important. The awareness people will fight me because they're aware. They don't understand why they should be lined up here now. They may have the words, oh yeah, here now, yes, here now, yes. But the actual, see, that words OSensei was cool to watch. You had this, I don't even know what to call it, it's a much finer level, those aren't even good words, that was here in the dojo through this old man. It was here. Okay. And he tried to highlight that. It was here, it was here. Okay. So even though in the dojo is a heavier dimension, in the world is a heavier dimension, he was able to stand, I don't know the word yet, at the pre of that and function from the pre of that. And you'd see this old man do sort of magical things kind of thing. It wasn't that old man doing magical things, but because of this presence that was there, magical things could happen. You know, then he talked about the loving protection, harmony. You can't defeat me because as soon as you try to do something, something will happen to balance that out. And that's just happening. Not like he had to configure it and say, okay, now I'm going to do this to his that kind of thing. So anyway, maybe we're getting a little too advanced here. Or maybe let's use a lesser, dumber example. You got a Bobby and he's standing there. A real quick process. Then there's a 2x2 Robert standing there. Real quick process. There's a 3x3 standing there. A 3x3 guy is different than Bobby. But he's standing in the same location, wearing the same clothes. If you check his ID, yep, it's him, but it's not Bobby him. There's something else present. So that's a kindergarten example, I think, of what we're trying to say. If that helps you any. That doesn't confuse you too much. Okay, we're moving along. Mic's open. Say something because I think I may be running out over here. Self.
Okay, please get close to your mic.
Ooh. I didn't hear anybody. Kenny, who's there? Somebody? Nobody? You want to finish up?
Sensei Bob here.
Hey, Bob there.
You were distinctly describing the difference between how self grows and how characters grow. You said self grows through its own, it's aware of itself, it experiences itself, and that process continues. And if it continues, self, maybe growing isn't the right word, but it feels more of itself. Whereas the characters grow through the interaction of the qualities that are coming in to help it reach its next level.
But should we say that? Because eventually we're going to get to archetype self. And archetype self just has better access to the, let's call it, purity of the colors that mix him up. At which time he has a better sense of his self. So I'm not sure that I misunderstand.
Probably not.
Yeah, come back to me on that during the week.
Okay.
People, got nothing?
Sensei. How's it going, Sensei?
Yeah, fine. Skip the chat. What do you want?
This is Andrew from San Jose.
Yeah, Andrew, I got you. Go.
As you go through bigger spaces, 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 2 by 3 by 3, on and on, does the character automatically get better, or is that a whole different process?
No. Should by law automatically get better. I mean, what happened when you went from a 1 by 2 to 2 by? If you in fact have done that, you notice a little bit better character. He stands a little straighter, he's a little stronger, he's a little clearer, he's a little bit nicer. Whatever. You move on to the next one, and lo and behold, he's even a bit better somehow or t'other. Okay? You do another one. Whoa, same thing. Why do you think it's suddenly going to die on you? The pattern continues.
Does it matter if you improve the character first or the space, or doesn't matter at all?
I think I said a good trick is to open up the space, recognize the space. The more space, the more naturally a better can mix. See, we can go 1 by 2 by 3 by, and you got to not fight the walls that are there, but you're going to bump into the membranes and stuff. We can skip a lot of that, although once you learn, this is kind of how it works in the manifest. And we can use certain tricks, like let's just cut to space, more space, more space, more space. And then what assembles at the level of space you could get to. Now, having the fog, you should get to your best level of space you can do in that period of time, an hour. And then, easy, you want to be somebody. Okay. Just say, hey, I want to be somebody here. And it'll mix up a character, should be at the level of space that you've opened up to. Okay. Should be something like that. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Sensei.
Probably could have said it like everything else tonight better, but so be it. We finished, people? Thank you.
Sounds like we are. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Sorry
Thank you, everyone.
for the screw up last week, and know a couple of people couldn't get on. We had a little screw up. We had a session, but not the first few minutes were a little screwy. So sorry you missed it. It will be available soon, Kenny? Kenny?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. It'll go out to the mailing list.
Thank you. Thank you. See you next week. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sensei. Thank you. Have a
Thank you.
great
Thank you,
week.
Sensei.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Kenny.
Thank you.